Grupuk, Lombok, October 2017. It's worth to note that Grupuk has a population of 1,500, which is not very many. So where does all this plastic come from? It's time to stop pointing fingers and start thinking on how to move forward. So when was plastic first invented? Well, plastic was first created in 1907 by Leo Hendrik Baekeland when he invented bakelite, a synthetic-based polymer made from phenol and formaldehyde. Plastic was later developed and improved in many different ways. Species, you could say, it branched off into. Focusing on HDPE, created by Carl Ziegler in 1955, is found everywhere today, and respectively, he earned a Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 1963. Now, bottle caps, or HDPE, you could call it, is one of today's biggest problems in our oceans. You know why? Because they're bottle caps, they become so small. Now, why is this such a problem, you may ask? Well, it all starts with the recycling process. Why? Well, because there is none. Well, let me first clarify that there are 6 different types of plastic. HDPE, LDPE, PET, PVC, PS, and PP, all with different melting points, textures, flexibility, density, taste, I don't know. But this makes it impossible to effectively recycle everything at once. This makes it a problem. Now, bottles are seen every day, and over 1 million of them are bought every single minute, all with bottle caps on them. So why not recycle both, cap and bottle? Well, PET, the type of stuff used to make bottles, is economically beneficial to recycle and cheaper. Bottle caps, on the other hand, well, unfortunately, they're more expensive to recycle, and the cost ends up overweighing the benefit. Very few cities even accept bottle caps into recycling factories around the world. This needs to change, or at least there's some way we can help. Now, so why am I up here? Why am I, a surfer, relevant to the solution? Well, the perspective of surfers is that we are careless beach bums waiting for good waves. But what they don't know is that we are the frontline troops. We are the ones that swim and live through it every single day. I'm up here speaking on behalf of all surfers. Surfing is one of the last sports on earth that relies solely on nature. The tide, the wind, the swell, the reef, the current, you name it. It develops a deep love and connection with nature. And when you love something, you really care about it. So what are the most important tools to a surfer? Well, I would say fins. You could not be where we are today without fins. You couldn't tuck into the barrel or do a cool snap, a maneuver you could call it. So to me, fins are crucial to a surfer's performance. So, what are fins? Where'd they come from? And from when? Well, fins are the equivalent of modern surfing. Hawaiians were the pioneers of surfing. You know, they had big wooden boards that were finless, and they would just focus on riding straight towards the beach. And modern surfing today is thanks to the fins. Now, that is because in 1935, Tom Blake, a legendary surfer, one day asked a speedboat skipper what the skeg of his boat was used for, and was answered that helped stabilize the boat on a sharp turn. Weeks later, he found an abandoned boat on the beach and took its keel, modified it, changed it, attached it to his board. And that was the invention of the first fin, 1935, Tom Blake. Now, later in the mid-40s, Bob Simmons developed Blake's work into a similar design that we use today. And he also invented the twin fin setup, a pioneer to using multiple fins at once. Decades later, in the 70s, Simone Anderson was unsatisfied by the stability of the board when riding bigger waves. And when one day, he saw a younger surfer out with a twin fin setup and a smaller fin at the back, a light bulb went up in his head. That was when the thruster design was born, the most common that we see today. Now, fins made a big mark in surfing, but so did plastic to the world. So much as 600,000 kilos worth of trash is thrown into the ocean every single hour. That's the same thing as 15 humpback whales put together. Now, the problem of plastic in the ocean is becoming more and more obvious, but the solution, it's not always so clear. I went on trash walks most of the time on the beach after a surf, and then it was on. I was dedicated. I had to do something about it. I was going to finish my quest. It was a hard process, though. I took the easy steps first. I determined if it was truly possible to do something about this, to see if I could make a recycled plastic fin. Now, I started to collect bottle caps. Why bottle caps? Well, they're strong and resistant, yet flexible plastic, HDPE. And then, after that was finished, I started making my mold, the key item in my project. It took many days and a lot of tries to finish the mold. And then once that was finished, it was fully baked and everything was ready, and I had my bottle caps shredded using a grinder so they would become easier to melt, I tested it. I was so happy I would finally have a fin. I would finally have what I needed. Now, yeah, that. So it didn't turn out so well. For a mold to work, it would have to be made out of metal. And I didn't want to buy a mold, I wanted to make one. So instead, I improvised. I took all the plastic that I had created and turned it into a brick. Because you can do this with plastic. You can melt it again and again and again. Even if a fin fails, you can always turn it into something new. Now, after I redid the process of this, I cut a fin shape out of it. Shout out to Francis. And then after a lot of sanding and refining, well, I give you the final product, Mahalo fins. Mahalo being the trademark surf sign. Well, Mahalo being the trademark surf sign used in nearly every picture ever taken of me. I mean, like, come on. My loving for the blue water only grew. I love the ocean in a certain way, and I'm doing my best to keep it that way. Pollution is a problem, and it's becoming a bigger problem. You can join people already taking action. You can find your own creative and innovative ways to help. You can consume the least you can and support businesses and companies that are doing the right thing. And I know I'm not going to save the world, but every act you make, every step you take, it all helps make this world a better place. Thank you.